I can see closely. It's when it's far away that I need it. Inside.
Is that why you couldn't see me shining?
Oh, yeah.
Greetings and salutation, guys. I told you I was going to be back to update y'all on everything that was happening dealing with my son, my youngest son, my 19-year-old. Okay. What had happened? He had been involved in what they considered a fight. And I'm going to use the things that were going on. And then we had an ARD meeting, which when you have a special needs child and if they're also in special ed, they have ARD meetings. And it's an annual review, dismissal, and whatever. They talk to you about how they're doing with all their classes, if they're meeting or achieving their goals, and if they're going to keep them in their classes, like for special ed or whatever have you. And I'll get to the whole ARD meeting because it was pretty bad, the things that they said. And they also were going off things from last year from a teacher that clearly did not like Alex and did not get along with him. They should have actually got with a teacher that actually got with him, that liked him, that could actually give a better classification, I'd say. But dealing with the fight, the whole school year, there has been a disruptive student in the art classroom that should have been removed, that had caused the fight between my son. My son went to unplug his computer plug. The plug accidentally hit the kid, and it didn't hit him hard. My son turned around and apologized to the kid, which being COVID, they're supposed to be separated pretty far apart. And the thing is, the kid is not even supposed to be where my son is. He's supposed to be at another desk anyway. And for some reason, he kept moving closer to my son. And why the teacher allowed him to be with my son, this area, I do not know why. After my son apologized and everything, he hit my son with this block in the face, swinging it and hit him. And then as the teacher turned her back, he reached up, grabbed something hanging from the ceiling, and hit my kid with impressible force, caused my kid to black out. And then after my son came to, after my son came to, he punched him in the mouth. And he busted his lip a little bit. And then my son realized what he did. And then my son's like, okay, I'm not going to do that. And then he put him in a headlock, which was not very forceful because he was just trying to contain him so they would stop fighting. And the kid was sitting there punching my son over and over and over and over. They were sitting there acting like my son was beating the crap out of the kid. No, he wasn't. So they're trying to make it out like my kid was some sort of terrorist. And my kid is the one that didn't have a weapon. All my kid did was hit him with his fist. The other child had hit my kid with an actual weapon. And they're trying to put my kid in alternative school just for hitting. And this is his first offense. And he's never been in trouble for the whole school year. They're judging him based on his past. They're not trying to give him a clean slate for this beginning year, even though he has been well behaved. He's kept his grades up. Anytime his grades slid just a little bit, he worked to get his grades put back up. Coming in the next week or two, he has his STAR testing, which it doesn't seem like they really care. He can't take his STAR testing, one, at the alternative school. And I'm like, are you kidding? And I'm going to actually try to pull up the alternative test. Hang on. Not the alternative testing, but hang on. Here, I'm going to try to pull some stuff up. I'm going to try to pull up some reviews for Wheatley so y'all can understand why I really do not want my kid at this school. It's Wheatley Alternative Education, serves 39 students, grades 1 through 2. The student-teacher ratio of 4.1 is lower than the Texas State of 15.1. So they're below what they're supposed to be. Okay, so that means they're not meeting the student teacher ratio. And Wheatley Alternative Education ranks among the top 20 public schools for Texas, which really ain't good. Let's see. I'm trying to see where they have the reviews.
Hello?
Hang on. All right. I'm going to do it this way. Okay, this is how bad it is. Only 12 people like the school, and there's only 51 people following it. Okay, let me see.
Okay, internal work.
Okay, I'm trying to see.
And this is
Yes, my name is Karen Hayes, and earlier today I was trying to put in an order and I had an issue with it, and I closed the order down. And I noticed this afternoon I went back into because the problem I was having is I had to take off my granddaughter's.
Okay, they're sitting here talking so bad about other schools over here. They're talking about that it's a messed up school. And these are people that are talking about their kids being at the school. What's about the 504? It's a messed up school, that they're praying about it. I'll read you some of the comments. He goes, "Hey girl, trying to be in your business or nothing, but have you ever had your son in the 504 in the program school?" She goes, "Yes, he's in it, but the school just doesn't want to deal with him, and they sent him to the alternative school. The school is so messed up, girl. I'm tired of dealing with them. They are no help, and they seem to make things worse. Trust, I know exactly what you're going through. My son has been in the program since last year and was put in another school this year as well. I've had him on meds, but I took him off because I don't want him dependent on them. Since he's been in the new school, he's actually doing better, but it's a struggle. Just keep praying for him. Since I started praying, my son's been doing a lot better." Y'all know how I feel about that. But anyway, I do girl all the time. I've literally right across the street from the park, and he's always plays basketball, but that's on a different subject.
There we go again. No answer, no answer, no answer. Pick it up and get on me
revolutionary. I already know this one's gonna be.
So this is actually on their Facebook page, y'all, for Wheatley. And this is a school they're trying to send my son to for the alternative school, and they're talking trash about Wheatley.
I didn't realize that my granddaughter's food stamp card was on, and I didn't realize how to take her card off.
And let's see, I'm trying to get more education so I can share this with y'all. And this is where they're trying to send my son, that he has educational needs that need to be met, and it's not going to meet. And they have bullies there and really bad kids.
3 weeks for the membership.
And I'm not seeing anything that is promising that would deal with it. And
so is there any way they can put that money back into my card so I can get my thing, so I can do my free 3 weeks per?
So it's really ridiculous. So, and here's the thing.
Yeah, for the 3.
Like I told them, if my son had been a troublemaker all school year since he's been going to school, and they've been in school since August and it's December. So August, September, October, November, December, 5 months. Okay. And if he had been a troublemaker all school year, I can understand them being so harsh trying to send him to this bad school. And if he had been a normal kid and not special needs, not with a disability or anything of the such of the matter, and this is the problem, you know. And then nextly, they do not have his PTSD on file. My son, like I've explained in the other video, suffers from 2 different types of PTSD, which I won't share the other one, but I'm going to have to get this from the doctor, which they are supposed to have his PTSD on file of any sort of fights, which I've shared this on the previous video. And he freaks out since he's been bullied. He's had issues at home because of my grandmother, my mom's ex. It's explosive fights, abusive fights. So it's been pretty horrendous. And and they're not understanding why he has problems with adults and peers. Now, I'm going to go into this a little bit more deeply. When a child has suffered from abuse at school, and it's been from peers and adults, they're not sitting there understanding the enchilada. Okay. Now, at a very young age, he had put his full trust, his full love and capacity into the adults. He loved all his teachers. Now, if I can get his teacher from 3rd grade to go speak to Temple High School, where he's going to right now, she would probably put her foot in their ass, to be blunt. She would probably be very ticked off at how they're treating him. And she would probably tell them how they're misjudging him, how they're talking about him, that they're not even adequate on anything. Because Alex at that time, he was thoughtful of his peers. He would get mad because they actually used to make things for Alex when he would behave, when he would get good grades. They would actually give him rewards. And Alex would say, why am I the only one out of the class getting rewards? What about everybody else? And they go, Alex, why are you doing that? He's like, I want everybody in the class to get something too. He was a selfless child. He was not selfish. He was selfless. He would think of everybody. And this is what type of kid I actually have, because I have taught him kindness, loving, support. I taught him he can trust adults. And guess what that makes me look like? At times he gets mad at me because he's like, Mom, you told me I can trust and rely on these people. And now he's looking at them like they're liars. So, they wonder why he has issues believing in them. They've done it themselves. It's not me that's causing issues with them. It's them causing the issues, because when they're supposed to be protecting him, when they're supposed to be educating him, when they're supposed to be standing up for him, when they're supposed to be controlling the classroom, when they're supposed to be putting kids in their place, and when they're supposed to be fair disciplining, they're not. They're disciplining only one set of kids and not all the kids. There's no fair disciplining. They should have fair disciplinaries, and they're not. They're only disciplining one set of kids, not all kids. Like right now, if my child was the other student that was causing a whole disruption in the class all school year, my child would probably already been expelled. Okay, this is the reality of this. And this is why I'm making 2 sets of videos. And this is what they do not understand. And this is why I'm upset. This is why I think it's an unfairness. And this is why I have been so mad at the whole TISD board from start to finish. Since my youngest son has been in school from my oldest son, I have seen a difference in their disciplining, their reactions. They treat both of my sons very differently. My oldest son was, had the best of the education. His, art meetings were on time. He didn't get in trouble nearly as much. The other kids got in trouble for messing with him. My youngest son, he gets picked on. He gets bullied. He gets messed with. His disciplinary is rougher and harder. It seems like it's very racist and very racy, if you want to know the point, because my son, he's Hispanic descent, Native American, and you can see it in him. And I feel that it is very racist. And it's to the point that it does look it. And then they seem like they don't really care because of his descent. Like they feel that he's going to amount to nothing. So they're just, wanting him to drop out. And this is the point I'm getting mad. And they figure, the dropout ratio is no thanks to them because they're not putting the care or anything. And when I tell them, you're showing me that you don't care about my kid's education, when I've been calling for the last 3 weeks trying to get a hold of the principal and he hasn't called me back.
It's 4 now.
And it's, well, actually close to 4 weeks now, like my oldest son said.
It's 4 now.
Can you put more ice in here for me, baby?
I've told you since 4 weeks now.
So, my pizza. I apologize. I'm getting ready to eat dinner after I'm done with this. Pizza! I'm not going to have a mukbang with y'all. Sorry. But, anyway, the reality of this whole spiel. And when we go in to have the ARD meeting, we were supposed to have a fair meeting where it was supposed to be things talked about what happened, present tense, not past tense. They were bringing up things from Alex's past where we filled out, me and another teacher that I wasn't aware of, that filled out talking about Alex's behavior, his education, and everything else. This teacher supposedly had talked so down about my kid that I wasn't even aware of it. And I'm sitting here just like, what the freak? And they were sitting here saying all these things about my kid, and I'm sitting here like, okay. And they're supposed to be here for my son. They're supposed to be trying to help my son, and it's like they really don't care about my son. And after I've told them everything, it's like they still don't get it. I've told them in the meeting like 3 to 4 times he has severe PTSD from fights. It is part of his disability. Y'all need to notate this.
They say that doesn't matter.
And they say it doesn't matter. Can you get me a cold Coke? Because I need the ice in my cup and a cold Coke from the fridge.
There is no more cold cooking.
Look down the bottom. There is.
No, it's not in the bottom.
There should be, because Alex and Cutting has been putting them.
They might be.
But they were pretty much criticizing him, putting him down. They didn't know what they were doing, but my son was sitting there talking about committing suicide because they were sitting there talking about his intellectual delay. Them sitting here doing this kind of crap where I'm not sending him to school.
I think your stuff is here, buddy.
And because I'm not sending him to Wheatley. Because like I said, I've been to Wheatley. If I go to Wheatley right now, it's going to be the same school that I went to back in 99. It is the most worthless school. It is the crappiest school. It has the worst type of kids there. And I'm not trying to be mean. Because normally the worst kids that we have where I live in Temple that go there. And it really is. It's the gang kids. It's the ghetto kids. And it really is. That's all that goes to that school. And they're trying to get my kid that doesn't understand things, that has a disability, to go there. And it's like, no, you're not going to send a disabled child to that school. No. It's like you can punish him at Temple High, but you're not going to punish him at Wheatley. And
Relax, at least you got yourself.
it doesn't really click with me how their level of thinking. And then they don't sit there and think how kids think either these days. And this is what I don't get is they think that kids, like I stressed yesterday on my video, that if a kid goes crying to a teacher or a principal after they get beat up, that they're not going to get bullied, or they're going to get protected by an adult all year round. And then an adult's going to have their back in the bathroom or any corner that they go in, that they're not going to get jumped anymore. I seriously highly doubt that. My child, if he would have went and got the teacher when that kid smacked him in the face with all that, they're not understanding the repercussion my son would have had to face. He would have gotten bullied the rest of this year. And that would have been more detrimental to my son, especially with all the disabilities he has already. He would have committed suicide by the end of this year. I would have lost my son. And with a lawsuit, it ain't about that. I could never replace my son. They're not understanding that. That is my baby. That is my child. That is my treasure. That is my legacy. that is all I have. That is my carry-on.
Here.
You know, I literally went through a lot of health problems to have these children. I'm not trying to lose these children. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
You got your pills?
I haven't taken them out yet. No, sir. I will when I'm done.
Mm.
But it's like they don't seem to grasp or understand the crap a mother especially has to go through to have a baby. You know, they're not really getting this, or the fruit or the meat, the milk, the bread. They're not really getting this. And you know, they're only understanding a certain bit. And especially, they need to take it from a child's point of view and understand how children really are. And then, being psychologists, they need to understand how children are. Or being adults, they need to understand how kids are. Adults, you all need to wake up and quit thinking that you're going to stop kids beating each other up, not put their hands on another kid. That's how you're going to stop fighting, is don't let them hit another person, period. That's how you're going to stop that.
Send them to another school where kids are
Get that kid that hit another kid to another school or expel their ass. That's how you're going to stop that, period.
Well,
And do not punish the kid that defended themselves. That's how you're going to stop that. You don't punish the kid that stood up for themselves. You punish the kid that did that to the kid first. You don't punish a kid for standing up for themselves. I am sorry. You're an idiot for even doing that. I'm so mad at the assistant principal. I am so mad at the school. I am mad at the freaking other lady. I mean, I can spit fire at these people for being idiots. You do not punish a victim. I am tired of this crap. I really friggin' am. It's like, you're going to sit here and punish someone that got raped. You're going to punish someone that, you know, got their house broken into for defending themselves. I'm sorry. No, you don't do that kind of crap. So you don't punish a victim. What the hell's wrong with you, stupid people? Wake up. Do you not understand that sometimes you have to do something to stand up for yourself so people understand, hey, I'm not a victim. You don't mess with me. You have to make a stand for yourself sometimes to make other people understand, hey, I'm not here to get bullied with. My son was a victim for years. He got bullied. He got tired of being bullied. And he got in trouble for being bullied. And it's stupid. And this is why I say I have grounds. I have legal grounds. And the school thinks I freaking don't. I've had grounds for over 12 years. So it's 12 years of God knows how much money. And they think they're going to get that school remodeled with how much money I could probably sue them for right now. They have no idea. No freaking idea. TISD is going to get mad at them, including with all their crap that I have in my back pocket that I've had let there and sit there and fester. They don't have no idea everything that I have. I have loads of crap. I can pull students that I still know that I knew from concerts that are my friends still. I have other students that used to go there that are still my friends that I used to babysit pretty much. I have a lot of kids that pretty much I knew that I babysitted from Temple High from all different years that could vouch for me how that school used to be from all various years. Trust me, that school has not changed at all. And if I could get a hold of Mr. Duran, I hate to call him out. Sorry, Mr. Duran, forgive me. He used to be my principal. Okay? Trust and believe. It's still the same thing. Sometimes you have to do something and you cannot get punished for it. My son could have seriously hurt that kid. He could have had that kid up at the hospital with a broken nose, broken arm, broken leg. My kid can throw down. He's lethal. I have taught him how to fight. Like I said, he punched his brother and had him on the floor with one hit. My child can box. He held back. He didn't want to hurt the kid. He just wanted to, get the kid to back off so he could get the kid to move, get him in a headlock, and that's it. He did a self-defense maneuver. Stun him. He stunned him. That's all he did. That is a self-defense. It's a stun. Shock him. Pop. Shock. Lock. Shock lock. That's what it's called. It's called a shock lock. If he would have hit him harder, the kid would have been on the ground. Yeah, he busted his lip, but the kid got him right here with a freaking weapon. My kid's going to have a scar on his face for the rest of his damn life. Rest of his life, he's going to have a scar from a goddamn charger block. A weapon. And TISD is like, oh, we're going to punish your... No. And this is why I want everybody to understand, when a school tries to do this to you, fight back with everything you got. Do not be scared to get a lawyer. Do not be scared to go to your doctors, get notes, get information, get legal stuff. Fry their butts. Because do not be scared. Because believe me, they're in the wrong. Especially if your child's a victim, do not let them put you down. Do not let them scare you. Do not let them sit there, talk you down, or sit there and act like, oh, no, you're wrong. No, they're wrong, because my kid has been bullied. He has sat there and been the victim of a lot of crap. And I've sat there and let it, because I'm like, you know what? Let me calm down. I want my kid to graduate. I want him to get... No. I'm done with trying to be civilized with the school, because I put up with a lot of crap from them trying to talk me down, because they know I have a right to... They know I have it. They know I do. And a lot of them, for one, they're supposed to be social distancing. They're not even social distancing at that school. That's a big no-no. That's a big faux pas. Our kids are supposed to be social distancing because we already have a new variant out here from COVID. They're not social distancing. They're close to each other. And we're going to start having breakouts again of COVID. So there's another rule broke. They're not even social distancing. They're not even making them wear masks. I mean, we're supposed to be following code of conduct out here. And I could get in contact with Bobby Ott and make sure that they're following the codes, and they're not. We're supposed to still be following the codes. Regardless of anything that they're saying, they're still supposed to be following the code of conduct. Because we're supposed to be making sure our students are safe and everything else, and they're not following it, and it's ridiculous. And that's how my kid got in the issue. If they would have had, like I said, the kid removed, they would have had him in social distancing, this wouldn't have happened. And guess what? They're not following their safety precautions, their rules, their code of conducts. They're not doing their disciplinaries. They're being lazy. So guess what happens? My kid gets victimized and my kid gets punished. And they're not even telling me what's happening to the other student, which I should have a right to know. Since my kid literally got mauled, I should have a right to know what happened to that other student. And they should have told me, ma'am, do you want to press charges? They didn't even ask me if I wanted to press charges against the other student. They didn't ask me. That should have been the first question, since my kid got actually hit in the face with a deadly intent of a weapon. They should have asked me if I wanted to press charges. They didn't even ask if I wanted to press charges. They didn't even bring it up. When my kid came home about ready to have a nervous breakdown, they didn't even ask me. Not knowing how bad his PTSD really is. I should have actually took him up to the hospital because he was breaking down. He was having a nervous breakdown here at the freaking house. That's how bad his PTSD really is. And the thing is, I have no medication to give to him right now to actually help him calm down. I mean, not even the amount of CBD I have can calm him down when he's like that. All I have to do is sit here, hold him, and comfort him for about 6 to 8 hours. Keep him awake to make sure if he falls asleep and he doesn't have a concussion, because he had a slight concussion. Yeah, my child got a concussion. So not only did he get a scar, he got a slight concussion, PTSD overload, didn't calm down for like 8 hours. And then the next day, he was still bothered. It took him almost a whole week to really calm down. And he's still pretty upset. So he's still not calmed down. To tell y'all frankly. He's still pretty upset. This is how bad his PTSD is. And hearing what they were saying in that ARD meeting, that even hurt him more. He actually started crying. My son is sensitive. even though they think he is very misbehaved, it's because of they don't know how to talk to him. They do not know how to relate to him. If they would actually listen to me and follow my directions, they don't know how to deal with kids. And here they're supposed to be better at this than me? Really? It seems like, them supposedly having PhDs and all this other bull crap, it doesn't amount to crap. You're that PhD doesn't amount to shit. I hate to tell you, because that my child, for one, he can read you like a book. He knows that you're being fake. He knows that you're judging him. He knows that you don't give a crap about his education. He knows that you're just there for the money. He knows that you are being insincere. So he ain't going to sit there and put his trust in you, because he's been misled, he's been hurt, and he's been let down by plenty of adults. So you're going to have to earn his trust. So no, he does not trust adults no more, because he's been hurt by many of adults in the TISD board. That's why he acts the way he does. And you know what? That is actually their fault. So that is a part of his disability, because what has happened at the TISD board? Teachers have allowed students to jump him. That's why he acts that way with adults. And they don't sit there and go, "Oh yeah, I didn't think about that." Duh. He has problems with his peers because what has happened to him? It's an awkward social issue. I have put him in social building classes at the hospital because of this. It's actually on his file. I have proof. He's been in social building classes for about 4 years because of what happened to him at his elementary school and what happened to him at his middle school. I had him in social building classes because of this crap. And the stupid high school never thought about asking. They judged, didn't open their mouth, didn't go, "Hey, did you ever think about putting him in social building classes? Have you ever thought, because he has problem with his adults and this, that, and the other, because, the way he acts towards us is not part of his disability." Actually, yes, it is part of his disability. You know it all. They've never asked. And this is a problem with schools. They misjudge students and they never think about asking, "Have you ever done this? Have you ever done that?" So we can document it on file, because it is on his file. It's on his file at the hospital. And so I actually have proof, and I have it on my background. And so I got it on my back. So the school, it's fried. I actually have everything to prove it's on his disability. Can y'all please quit coming on here talking about your Avar tech? Ugh. Anyway. So this is why I tell y'all to pursue this. Make sure you have stuff with your doctors. Make sure that you have it all documented. Make sure you have a good doctor for your kids, because it gets monotonous. It really does. And especially, I'm fired up. I'm a strong woman. I love my kids. I don't like it when people mess with my kids. I've had my kids deal with their punishments, yes, when they've messed up. Like when my son got busted for watching porn last year. Oh, he got punished. But they didn't sit there and think, an 18-year-old's going to watch porn on a computer. What 18-year-old wouldn't? I mean, hello, they're 18. That's a lot of them are going to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I don't know why they're acting like, and he's disabled. So hello. I mean, he's, acting like a typical 15, 16-year-old would. And even though you tell him not to, the disability and the behavioral, that's part of it. They're going to do things that they're not supposed to. That is part of it. And he falls on the slight autistic side. So that is also part of the behavioral part. So it deals with it. But they misjudge a lot of crap. They don't sit there and understand it. But I let them deal with the discipline, because he did do it. I know he did. But the assistant principal had his computer. And weirdly enough, while he had his computer, the porn was being watched for a long period of time. And no one sat there and got in the assistant principal's face. Why? I do not know. Nothing got said to that assistant principal for watching the porn for a long period of time. Why is that? Very interesting. And they sat there and said it was Alex watching it, but it was in the assistant principal's hands the whole time. So how could my son be watching the porn last year when the assistant principal had his computer the whole entire time? My son didn't have a computer in his possession and he couldn't watch it, and he had no computers for him to watch anything. I didn't let him on computers. So the assistant principal was watching porn on my son's computer and tried to blame it on my son. And I even told the assistant principal, I advise you to shut the hell up or I'm going to embarrass you. And believe me, it got dropped quicker than a heart attack. There's also been sexual assault from a teacher to a student at that school. They don't sit here and question none of the adults at this high school, which, why? I do not know. They think all their teachers are so great and so wonderful and so perfect, and they can never do no wrong. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Their teachers lie constantly to save their butts. I had a teacher last year that me, my daughter-in-law, were trying to get in contact with all last year to help out my son with his history. The damn teacher would never get in contact with us. The teacher was sitting here ignoring us like we were the Great Black Plague. And we were trying to get my son's history grade pulled up. Teacher would not respond to messages. I called up to the high school like a million freaking times trying to leave messages for the damn teacher. The teacher would not respond. It's like, does a teacher even exist? Is a teacher alive? Is it a ghost? I mean, we were making jokes about the damn teacher. Like, seriously.
He's a coach.
And it was a coach nonetheless. And he was a history teacher for a coach. Go figure that. I didn't think coaches could be history teachers because coaches are kind of ding, 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 ding. So I was like, how can a history teacher be a coach? Because coaches are kind of brain dead, if you know what I mean. And I ain't trying to be, salty, but I'm like, damn, the history teachers kind of had to be kind of smart. They, coaches kind of take hits to the head with balls. They're kind of not all there. So how can you teach history when your brain's not all intact? You know what I'm saying? You're ditzier than a blonde. I'm like, God, y'all are desperate if you're letting a coach teach history, So just saying. It's like, get a real teacher to teach history, for God's sake, especially one that can actually reply to a parent that's actually trying to help their students. So this is what I had to go through last year. I mean, me and my daughter-in-law were tap dancing with like 4 teachers that would not respond to anything last year. Luckily, my son's special ed teacher last year was getting in touch with us. His automotive teacher was getting in touch with us. 2 other teachers were getting, only 3 other, maybe 3 or 4 teachers would get in touch with us calling, is Alex okay? Is he doing okay? We're checking on him. He has some assignments he needs to get done, blah, 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 blah. And they missed him. And I'll let Alex talk to some of them because some of them were his favorite teachers and he missed them. That's what I'm talking about. Putting your best foot forward. Them teachers, I respect. Those teachers are awesome, and I still respect those teachers because they cared about my son. And I knew that they cared about my son. I highly respect the crap out of them. I actually even told them, thank you for caring about my son because you make my son feel like he isn't a priority, that he stood out to you, and you genuinely cared about his education. That to me was the only reason why I kept him at that worthless school. Because this school is supposed to be one of the best schools. I highly doubt it. If there was other schools in Wheatley and Temple High, I would send him. And I'm Troy sucks a dick. Belton High, I wouldn't, even if I was 3 sheets to the wind high, send him to Belton High. I'm not being evil. The schools around in this area suck dongs. We need more high schools, okay, guys? And I'm being serious. They need to quit working on Temple High and get another high school and hire better teachers, get better principals, and they need people that actually have principle, that are humble, that are there for the children, and actually do their damn jobs.
Hey, didn't they call call Native Americans Indians in one of their classes?
Yeah, they called Native Americans Indians. We're not Indians, we are native. Indians and Native Americans are two different things. And they did this at Temple High. So they misclassified us. And they misclassify a lot of crap in there. And it irritates me. They have misclassifications,
That's what doesn't make sense.
miseducations, and they do a lot of this crap. They really do. I mean, there was a school that got in trouble for doing that on Instagram where a teacher was acting her ass out, disgracing Native Americans. Temple High has done it too. They have it in one of the books calling us Indians. We're Native Americans, not Indians. I'm Blackfoot and Cherokee. I'm not disgracing Indians. I have Hindu, Muslim, Islamic. I have friends across the board, but I'm Native American, honey. I'm proud. My people were here first, okay? I'm not getting in a racist conversation or nothing. I'm just saying we're called Native Americans for a reason because we're Native Americans. There's a whole reason why we're called that, okay? Understand your shit. If you don't, Ebonics, bitch, okay? Learn your shit. Educate yourself. Anyway, this is the whole reason why I'm pissed. Okay, because one, my son needs to get his STAR testing done. He's already behind work. They're not going to get him all his stuff over there at Wheatley. They're going to have him doing stuff that ain't even part of his classwork. He has so many credits that he needs to have done right now to actually graduate. They're not sitting here thinking about his itinerary for his graduation. I'm thinking about his itinerary. I'm calling up there, chewing them out every single day, harassing them because I'm mad because the principal is actually, literally dilly-dallying, dodging me. Supposedly they're having issues and he was so busy. And I'm like, my ass. I even told them he needs to step his pussy up, like RuPaul says. And I ain't joking. He needs to step his pussy up. He can easily take 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes to actually hear what I have to say. Let me speak my fucking mind. And then go back to his dilly-dallying. I mean, you're not sitting there having that much issues for 8 hours that you can't call a parent. I'm sorry. I'm like, seriously, dude, I can do your job with my freaking eyes blindfolded, honey. It ain't that damn hard. Y'all can hire me and I can do it. And I mean, I don't even have a fucking education and I can do it. It ain't that goddamn hard. I could do that. I could run around that school and do his job and everybody else's job probably. And it wouldn't take much. And I can get those kids ran straight. Trust and believe I can get that school straightened out like that. I can get it ironed out. Believe me, I'd have them kids running. Believe me, those kids would not talk back. Best better believe. Because my own kids, they learn. You don't talk back to me. I would straighten out. I could look and tell which kids need to go to Wheatley and which kids can stay at Temple High. I wouldn't even have, and believe me, it's not misjudging kids. It's not judging how they dress or anything. I could tell by an attitude. Attitude tells me everything. And I can tell you by just their attitude who needs to be at Wheatley. I could tell you. And I wouldn't be sitting here kissing no parents' ass, even if their parents were giving money to the PTO and all this other crap and putting money into the school. I ain't gonna kiss no ass just to get money into the school. Screw you. I'd still send them to Wheatley. I don't care. If they're misbehaving, I ain't gonna kiss no butt to get money into the school. I'm sorry. If they're causing a ruckus and a nuisance in the school, my kid is actually being good and he's getting punished for doing what he had to do to protect himself. He was getting attacked and he's getting punished. I am sorry. But other kids that are doing things that he did a couple of years ago and then they're not getting punished? No. I'm raising hell. And I'm sorry. This is ridiculous and this is stupid. This is monotonous and I'm tired. That's why my voice is going to be heard this time. And I think a lot of other parents need to stand up and voice their opinions because there's been a lot of kids that have been bullied, that have been pushed around, that have been, that have had teachers put them down and let other students go around doing the same crap, and they haven't got punished, but they got punished for doing the same crap themselves. And it's like, if it's good for the goose, why ain't it good for the gander? You know what I'm saying? What's up, baby?
Kind of like what happened to me. My school bullying me, so when
Uh-huh.
I did the same shit back at them, they were like, "No,
Exactly.
you're getting removed, and you're gonna transfer."
Exactly. So it's like, what's the difference with that student doing it, but the other student does it and they get in trouble? What's the difference between the two students? What's the difference? I mean, really, the other student that thought my son was really pale and white, is that what's the scared of it? Is because he's predominantly white and y'all feel that he's actually going to go out and be something, possibly a doctor or a dentist or a lawyer, and my kid ain't going to amount to nothing. My kid could be working on fucking Mercedes, Aston Martins, all this other. He could be he could actually design the next like big deal car. Y'all don't know what my son can do. My son can be the next president of the United States. You people just do not know. My son actually has a mind on him, and he has a beautiful mind. And he is creative, and believe me, he could be something huge. But y'all are putting him down. And that's what makes me mad. Because he even said his first grade year, he got his first 100, and the teacher got in his face and said, "There's no way you got 100." And that's where it started. A teacher actually bullied him. And it made him feel like crap, so he didn't want to try no more. And I'm like, "What teacher told you that?" And he goes, "Yeah, Mom." He goes, "That's where it kind of started. And I didn't really want to, you know, sit there and, really try too hard, because every time I did, everyone said that I was cheating or I was doing this or I was doing that." And he goes, "Every time that I put my best foot forward, I was doing this, that, and the other. I was cheating off somebody, or I had, the answers hidden somewhere, or this, that, and the other." And I'm like, "Really?" Or I was guessing and I got the answers right, and I was just, rummaging through it. And I'm sitting there just like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm like, all these people were sitting there bullying my kid, and I'm like, even adults. There was multiple adults bullying my kid in the school, and nothing got done. Just because they were adults and they took the words of adults versus a child. And you could tell the child was being bullied, but they believed the adult over the child. And this is why children get molested in schools, because they believe they don't believe the children, because they think children are making up lies to get the adults in trouble. And this is what causes issues. This is why there's so many conflicting topics about schools. I'm not saying every case is true, but you can sometimes tell when it is. My child, you can tell that it's true, because he started off so sweet, so loving, so kind. He was empathetic, he was enduring, and his whole entire demeanor changed. And trust me, if they go back to the school he started and talk to the teachers that he first had up to now, you can tell. They will tell you that what they say is not true. That somewhere along the lines, something has happened, and I can tell you what has happened, because I know for a fact what's happened. I've seen it. I've heard it. I've witnessed it, and nothing got done. My child was victimized by adults, by his other peers, and nothing was done. So he literally stopped trusting adults. The principal that he had faith in did not help him, which his name was Mr. Dixon. I went to that man. He was a family friend. He was the principal at Cater. I told him what the teacher was allowing. The teacher was bullying him. She was throwing his colored pencils. She literally got his colored pencils, threw it across the room, got in his face, was yelling at him his freaking 5th grade year. She was allowing the kids to beat the crap out of him in the classroom. And this was happening every freaking day. And then every day she's seeing me, she was smirking at me. And I kept telling Mr. Dixon, are you going to keep allowing this to happen? I said, she smirks at me every day. I said, she's bullying my kid. And I said, she comes up to me, she sits there and smirks, and she sits there and talks crap to me. And she sits there and tells me, she's like, you can't do nothing about it. She goes, I'm going to do what I want. And your students, oh my. And she's like, your child's going to have to sit there and do what I tell him to do, whether he likes it or not, because it's going to be my way or no way. And I'm like, and you're going to allow this? And nothing happened. And I bet you anything, she stayed at that school until she was ready to go somewhere else. Because he left, because he got really sick and he changed. And it makes me so mad that my kid, that I could not, I mean, I could have done something at that time, but I was trying just to hurry up and get my son out of that school and just be done with it. Just like I'm trying to right now. And evidently, I'm going to have to maybe do the other route. So, believe me, guys, when I tell you, if you have children that are young, that start school, and you see the beginning lines of something like this, pursue something legally right away, because normally it's not going to stop. And you don't want your kids to go through something painful like that for the rest of their lives, because it's horrendous and it's monotonous. And it'll be ugly. And you don't want them to have that label with them for a long time, because once it starts, kids will see it, other adults will see it, and they'll be branded. And you don't want that brand to stay on them. It stayed on my son for a long time, and believe me, it stuck. And it got ugly. And I'm still trying to get it off of him. And I don't know. So just know, guys, that I'm putting this up to help other parents, to help other children, and let other children know you're not alone, that there's other parents out here that do care about you, that you're loved, you're cherished, you're thought of. And believe me, I'm one of those parents that if you were my child, I would fight tooth and nail for you. And other parents to let you know, believe me, the struggle is real, but do not give up on your children. Do not ever give up on your children, because believe me, we are the only ones there for our children. And we literally have to be the warriors for our children, because we're the only ones that can be at this time. So know that I love you guys. My heart is there with you. And like I said, just don't give up. Okay? Be there, be their shield, be their sword, be their knight in shining armor, be everything that you can be for those kids, because that is what they need. And then be the hero that tucks them in at night and give them the biggest hug that you can. And just let them know everything's going to be all right, and try to rescue them as much as you can. That's all we can do. All right. So I'm going to end this video. Y'all have a good night, and know that I love you guys. Okay. Bye, y'all.